Happy game day, Seattle hockey fans. It's time for revenge against Calgary. Can the Kraken get it done? Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what do you say? And happy game day, Seattle hockey fans. Welcome to a weekend episode of Locked On Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. My name, Erica L. Ayala here, and I am wearing a hat. It is not the UMA hat because we haven't had a win in a little bit, but hoping we can turn that around. I did get a brand new hat though, and I just wanted to wear it because I think it's cute. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the Seattle Kraken, but I will give you some stats and facts to know ahead of tonight's game on the road against the Calgary Flames. The Seattle Kraken looking to get back into the win column before the Four Nations break. Talked about it on the last episode, but the lone representative for the Seattle Kraken will be Kaapo Kakko. And we heard a little bit from Eeli Tolvanen. And I quite literally mean a little bit. He didn't really give much. I think the guy's ready to go on vacation, but we'll talk about all of that coming up on today's episode, which is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Wasn't long ago that we played the Calgary Flames, and they came out swinging bang, bang, bang. 3 goals in the first frame. They end up winning the game 3-2. And again, we talked about it a few episodes ago. The pain of the team almost getting a goal in the last millisecond of regulation would have given them a point in the standings and would have hugely helped if they could get the full points by getting the win in overtime or the shootout. That did not come to pass. And what we heard from Eeli Tolvanen is really what we've been hearing from the Seattle Kraken for a little bit here, that it was really special teams that did them in. Here's Eeli Tolvanen just talking about the Calgary Flames, and then we'll have him talk about Kaapo Kakko a little bit later. Again, Eeli Tolvanen just on what needs to change on the road playing Calgary comparative to when they played the Flames at CPA.
Matt, do you want to join?
No. All right, Hannah, you good? Well, just want to start with this. Obviously, you guys just played Calgary recently. What did you kind of take away from that game, and what you guys can be better to have a better effort against them today?
I think special teams. I think we're a little sloppy there. We gave them power plays, give them a lot of opportunities. So I think just clean our game. Have the mindset to play our way. I think when we do that, we're a pretty good team.
I liked what he said right there. We need to have the mindset to play our game. And that just hasn't happened for the Seattle Kraken this season, if we're being honest. I talk so much about the consistency or the lack thereof for the Seattle Kraken team. And again, on the one hand, you kind of, you'll I guess, take the fact that this team knows what their identity is and that they know what good Seattle Kraken hockey looks like. That's Kraken hockey, baby. Haven't had to say that a lot. And I haven't brought Kraken crap back yet, but I might need to. Anyway, I guess it's good that the team knows that, but it's also endlessly frustrating, as I often say, that they cannot meet their own expectation of what good Kraken hockey is. I mean, that is the difference in this team right now. As we look at the Seattle Kraken against the Calgary Flames, when you look at the 3-2 game that was on February 2nd, face-off percentage, 56.5% in favor of Calgary to 43.5% for your Seattle Kraken. The power play, 40%, 2 of 5. 2 of 5 for the Calgary Flames, including 2 power play goals in the first period. Now, there was a challenge thrown in there. And there was a lot of random stuff that happened early in this game. That's not always going to happen in a hockey game, or we certainly hope it doesn't always happen in a hockey game. But still, too many opportunities, like we just heard Eeli Tolvanen say, 2 of 5 were the Flames, 0 of 3. So we had power play opportunities as well, could not convert. Penalty minutes, well, 14-8. Penalty minutes, 14 for the Seattle Kraken. Blocked shots, 21 blocked shots. So for me, blocked shots, a lot of people will say a lot of things about block shots. I do remember when we talked about this game, it was not a quality start for either goaltender. Joey Daccord looked very frustrated in that game. And also against Toronto, it was kind of meh. I don't know. But 21 block shots. That just is telling me that the Seattle Kraken need to do a little bit better with moving in the offensive zone, moving the puck, of course, in the offensive zone to open up shooting lanes, to open up seams, crash the net, which quite literally happened at the end of this game, but, against Calgary, the last game against Calgary, but would not bear any fruit regarding a goal for the Seattle Kraken. Other things in this game, I just, again, continue to say that this Seattle Kraken team knows they want to play fast. That's almost the reward, right? That's the dangling carrot. I don't know many athletes who play an elite level sport where there's running, or in this case, of course, skating, involve quick movements. Of course, you want to play fast. That's kind of the gold standard. Everyone wants to do that. If you can run free, if you can, if you're pedaling, if you're rowing, anything that you can get out in front of the field of the pack, that's what you want to do. I don't know. I don't even particularly like running, except for when I'm running and there's everyone behind me. Everyone likes playing that game. But to play that game, you have to have discipline in other areas. And we're not seeing that enough from this Seattle Kraken team. It continues to be the bugaboo for this team. So that was a little bit of a recap. The last time we played this Calgary Flames team, I just want to go over goaltending because we talked about this, in passing of Ladar, 935 save percentage. In this game, Joey Daccord, who we will see in net. Oh, dear Joey. I said this on the other episode before I give you his numbers against Calgary for the last outing against Calgary. He's got one game before this guy gets to put the pads down, step away from hockey. What I would love to see the Seattle Kraken do is reward their goaltender. The only one they have, pretty much. Reward their goaltender by playing fast. Because if you win the puck battles, if you play hard on the boards, you make things difficult for the Calgary Flames. You only lost after having a terrible first period. You lost by 1 goal and you almost got that one back. I need this team to rack up the points. Do it for Joey. Put it on your helmet, do whatever, put it on the whiteboard, do it for Joey. This guy deserves a break. He's going to get one regardless. But come on, lift his spirits, do a little bit better. Speaking of Joey Daccord, he had a 914 save percentage. I said after we recap, or when we recapped this game, 914 comparative to how he started. I'll take that because we don't even get close to coming back, to crawling back in this game. If it's not for Joey Daccord, don't think he started great. I thought a lot of what happened in that first period frustrated him to no end. And, he was able to bounce back, and that's huge. That is huge. And, it was something that you love to see, but it goes back to, and actually we're going to hear from Dan Bylsma a little bit later in this episode, but, Dan Bylsma was asked, what did you learn kind of from that Calgary game? And he talked about the duality of the team right now. On the one hand, there was the bounce back. On the other hand, there was the bad start. And you have to address both things. You want to be able to bring the crawl back, the bounce back, but you also need to mitigate the early bleeding effectively. So we'll hear, I mean, that was my summary effectively of what Dan Bylsma said. We'll hear from him and a little bit more, just some fun stuff from Eeli Tolvanen. He was asked a lot, of course, about Capo Caco, who will head off to the Four Nations face-off. He said the other day, we talked about it on the last episode, he's going to, from Calgary, go straight to Montreal. He's already in Canada, might as well, and catch up with Team Finland for the NHL face-off, Four Nations face-off. Coming up, though, let's, again, well, I kind of flipped to these. I sometimes do that, so apologies if you're watching the sidebar. But I kind of talked about the last game against Calgary. Let's talk about what the implications are for this final game. I know I talked a little bit about Joey Daccord, but what is the break going to look like? What will be important? And again, we'll hear Eeli Tolvanen just chime in a little bit on what he will be doing while his fellow countryman is playing for Team Finland. That's coming up on today's episode. Today's episode of Locked On Kraken brought to you by Game Time. If you're looking for tickets to your next big event, whether it's a concert, a comedy show, or a sporting event, finding the right tickets at the right price can certainly be a headache. But with Game Time picks, it's never been easier. So let me tell you how it works. I've been using Game Time for a while, and they're kind of rebranding a lot of the things that I love under Game Time picks. For example, the view from your seats. I've always loved that. I've talked about it before, especially when I get tickets to Mariners games when I'm in town to follow the Seattle Kraken or Seattle Storm. Sometimes both if I'm lucky. But they've always had that. They also have the lowest price guarantee. If you find a better deal somewhere else, they'll refund you 110% of the difference. So those are things we've always had with Game Time. But Game Time Picks elevates the experience even more by curating deals to make it super simple to find great tickets at a great price. No more sifting through thousands of options. And, you can grab these super deals for prime seats. You won't believe the value. The seats are always great. And again, you can take a look at the view from your seat. And the best part, you're covered again with that Game Time guarantee, lowest price guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, use the promo code that I'm about to read to you when you create the account. The promo code is LOCKEDONNHL, and that will get you $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks again for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily destination. We're coming to you with a little Saturday bonus episode here of Locked On Kraken. And maybe it's because I just want to show off my new hat, but also it's a game day. It's a game day. It's the final game day before the Four Nations break. This is a huge opportunity for the Seattle Kraken. I talked a little bit about Calgary and what we did or didn't do in that last matchup. If we look at the standings, the Calgary Flames underneath that wild card line, 59 points in the standings. Behind them is Utah, St. Louis, Anaheim, and then the Seattle Kraken. The point spread between Calgary and Seattle, we're 9 points separation right now, but 52 points to catch Anaheim. We could get that with a regulation win. 53 points to catch St. Louis, 55 points to catch Utah. So again, the Seattle Kraken missed some opportunities, especially in that last game against Calgary, to climb up the ladder here, but they can still do something, and they have to get points. They absolutely have to get points tonight, and I think the guys know it. I want you to hear a little bit from Dan Bylsma, who talked to media at Morning Skate, talking a little bit about what to expect against Calgary, and again, what his team needs to do to be successful, given what they learned the last time they played the Flames.
Well, Coach, just the fact that you guys just played Calgary recently, what do you take away from that game? What areas can your team be better and needs to be better in?
Well, I think a little bit of the story of the last few games, the team getting out to a lead on us, and us having success, claw back and fight back into it. And we need to take both of those things into this night's game. Limit them, limit their opportunities where they're good. Their players, a good rush team. 4 and 5 in the rush. They saw that against us earlier. We have to be good with the puck, good F3, have a good gap against these guys, limit their chances with those opportunities, and I think where we got our offense, where we got our success was having a strong forecheck, establishing an offensive zone presence, and getting opportunities from there.
I mean, a strong forecheck. It's one of our 3 Fs that we talk about here. And, again, a lot of the things we've been talking about on the show, that's exactly what Dan Bylsma is talking about here. The Seattle Kraken, again, I continue to say it because it continues to be true. This team knows what they need to do. It's just a matter of execution. I also liked how he talked about, that third forward coming into the zone. For me, the Seattle Kraken are just too stagnant, really, in all 3 zones. I don't think that we're dynamic enough. There needs to be support of what's happening. At one point in time in the season, I talked about Oliver Bjorkstrand, Eeli Tolvanen, and Yanni Gourde. That line just played phenomenally well when it came to being able to recycle. Actually, excuse me. It was Tolvanen, Wright, and Bjorkstrand, not Yanni Gourde. I apologize. I even broke this down. I have even petitioned Allison Lucan to take one of these, I think it was a Shane Wright goal, and petition to have it as a part of the film room breakdown, because this is what you need. It was the defenders were involved. The 3 forwards were cycling and effectively replacing each other in space and in motions. That doesn't always happen for the Seattle Kraken. And that makes us, as much as this team has said, hey, we want to be predictable for each other as they're learning each other, as the lines are changing, as things are feeling a little bit too difficult, like it's maybe you're finding it difficult to score, you're gripping your stick, that you'll hear hockey players say, well, we want to be predictable. They mean to each other. But what's also happening with the Seattle Kraken team too often is that they're predictable to the other team. I talked about the block shots. Just shoot into the body. Boom, boom. Calgary getting all those block shots. Come on. The Seattle Kraken have to be more dynamic. They have to really hunt for the puck when they don't have it on their stick. When they do have the puck, everyone needs to be moving, and everyone needs to be making the space, the controlled space that the opposition, when they're playing defense, they have to make that space smaller while also using that space to their advantage. So you want to use the width, but also, of course, go north and south, even when you're in your offensive zone, coming and cycling and circling below the goal line, all of these things. And so, I think Dan Bylsma is alluding to some of that needs to happen. Speaking of Eeli Tolvanen and Oliver Bjorkstrand, we've seen that they now are with Chandler Stevenson in the last handful of games. And, Eeli Tolvanen, he enters tonight with points in consecutive games, recording a goal and an assist in that span. And Tolvanen netted his 16th goal against Toronto in the last game against Toronto, which matches a career high he reached in each of his past 3 seasons. Now he has 2 goals in 9 career games against Calgary. So looking to see if he can continue to shine. Speaking of Shane Wright, 7 points in his last 7 games dating back to January 25th. Jared McCann has started to really find ways to impact the offense. 4 assists in his last 5 games. He ranks second among active skaters in goals and third in points in career games against Calgary. I shouted out Jared McCann the other day. Gonna shout it out again. Never go wrong picking Jaden Schwartz. Leads Kraken skaters 8 goals and 20 points. Ranks second in assists, 12 in 29 career games against the Flames. Of his 8 goals, I like this stat. 3 have come on the power play, which is a team high. And so there are some weapons, but it's a matter of if this team is going to be able to deploy them. That's kind of the name of the game for this Seattle Kraken team through and through. It's the final game, and Eeli Tolvanen, I mean, he did not mince words when he kind of said what he's expecting. Also ribbing Eeli Tolvanen ribbing Kaapo Kakko a little bit and giving us some insight as to why Kaapo probably doesn't live with him anymore. He's Eeli Tolvanen.
I feel like right away he jumped on the team. He's been putting up points. He's a good teammate. Really enjoy having him around. Just going to play for the Ford Nation. I think that's a big thing, an honor for him. I think he's going to be a big part of that team too.
Kaapo said he got his own place, but he's staying with you for a while. Are you glad to have him?
Yeah, it was about time to get out of there. We had a good Christmas. A lot of laughs together. We had a fun time, but his girlfriend got here, so it's probably better to get an own place and get some privacy. But it's been a lot of fun hanging out with him.
We heard that Chef Brandon has made some salmon soup.
Yes.
Have you been able to try it yet?
Well, the thing is, I've asked the chef to make the finished meals for 2 years now, and nothing happened. Then Kaapo shows up for the first 2 weeks, and we get the salmon soup. So, no, it was good. Maybe a little fixes there. We gotta talk about the original recipe of the salmon soup. We're gonna bring that some point of this year.
Yeah, I think that's what Kaapo said as well. Yeah. Awesome.
Have you shared any words of encouragement for Kaapo going to the tournament?
No.
He doesn't need any.
I'm just gonna tell him I'm gonna send pictures from my vacation when he's playing hockey. So.
I mean, Eeli Tolvanen, just a gem of a human there. Clearly, he has a good relationship with Kaapo Kakko to the point where he can, mildly yet somewhat also mercilessly rib him in his media availability, the last pregame media availability for Eeli Tolvanen and the Seattle Kraken, before we get to watch Kaapo Kakko in the Four Nations face-off. Eeli sounds like he will be somewhere relaxing for that. Also gave us some insight on why it was time for Kaapo Kakko to go ahead and move out. Coming up on Locked On Kraken, what are some keys to the game? And, what is the break going to look like for the Seattle Kraken and for the Locked On Kraken show? We'll get into all of that coming up on today's bonus game day episode. All right, Seattle hockey fans, last game before the Four Nations face-off. We're going to take on the Calgary Flames. The Sharks are playing the Stars and the Ducks playing the Kings tonight. So, these are some teams in Anaheim and San Jose who we are chasing. We also want to keep eyes on what's going to be happening between Utah and the Capitals. I think if you just look on paper, there is an opportunity for the Seattle Kraken to gain points, especially with a regulation win, and gain some ground. You never know. That's why we play the games. But these are going to be tough competitions, and that's all the more reason that the Seattle Kraken, our Seattle Kraken, need to come out swinging. Absolutely swinging in this game because they have plenty to gain, but they cannot take chances where they are playing games and coming out with no points. That's not what we need to see. And I said this the other day. I love to see also that Bob Condor saying, embrace the shoot mentality. I mean, I kind of was joking the other day when I said, give me 24 shots. Give me 24 shots in the first period. Well, why the heck not? Maybe the number is not 24, but something like just gaudy. I want like gaudy shot numbers. Get through the defense of the Calgary Flames, find some seams, get to the net front, and we have to shoot. Dan Bylsma said we passed the puck instead of shooting. He talked specifically about 4 opportunities in the middle of the rink, good spot to shoot the puck. So it sounds like these are things at least that the coaching staff has looked at on film. And if I had to guess, they're probably sharing this with the team as well. Hey, look at this. This is what we're doing. This is what we need to do, knowing that we're in a position where we have to get points. So, he talks about sending a continual message on where we need to be scoring from. Of course, talking about in the house, kind of that slot area, extended out a little. The statistical fact is that if you draw a box around the area, 80% of our goals come from there. It's not just about shoot mentality. It's also about drive to the net mentality. I mean, can we snap it up for that? Obviously. Positive trends for Evans and Eberle. That is something that we talked about a little bit, not expecting to see them in tonight's game. And I mean, why chance it? Yes, we need the points, but yes, they need their rest. If they're not good to go, probably not going to see them. And, Bob Condor also talking about Calgary has been losing ground in the wild card race. Does this mean that the Seattle Kraken can jockey for position? I mean, in theory, of course it does, right? But they have to win games. They have to get points. And that means they have to have a shoot first mentality. They have to be strong on the forecheck. They have to get goal support for Joey Daccord. And they have to find a way, by any means necessary, to get points in the standings. It's possible, but not without doing the little things. You want to streak out, you want breakaway goals, you want all of that, then you have to play tough. You have to play with sandpaper. I want some P&V. I just saw on the hockey stat cards, the hockey visualizations that I follow. Ryan Donato had a 4-point game the other day. I could cry. Give me some Ryan Donato. Give me some P&V. If you don't know what P&V stands for, I'm going to stop saying it because I feel like it's just very, what the crap. I'm from New York. I don't care. Piss and vinegar. Come on. I just feel fancy with my fancy hat. I'm trying to be all prim and proper. Oh, come on. It's a hockey podcast. Let's go. I want some P&V, baby. I want some sandpaper. Ryan Donato always gave us that. Now, listen. The guy isn't going to score, like 50 goals in a season, but he's going to get you a goal in front of net in the house, and he's just going to go, go, go. We need more of that mentality on this Seattle hockey team. We don't have Yanni Gourde, no Eberle, no Evans. Those are huge losses. I mean, Eberle was so good for us early in the season. Yanni Gourde, the pepper pot, are you kidding me? Now, where's that going to come from? Where's that going to come from? We're not completely a finesse team either. You might look at Chandler Stevenson. Maybe you look at Brandon Montour, some of what Shane Wright can do, but Shane Wright can also muck it up. We need it to be the year of Beniers, baby. Come on. You're working with Schwartz and Capo Caco. Let's make some magic happen because we need points. At the end of the day, do whatever it takes because we need points. If ever there was a time to show me that this Seattle Kraken team knows what it means to empty the tank, this game tonight is it. You're on the road. You get to fly back home or to wherever your vacation is, with the exception of Capo Caco, and just empty the tank, knowing that you are on a break from hockey, a league-mandated break from hockey. I want you to empty the tank. I want you to empty the tank. I want you to show me what you're made of, Seattle hockey. You have got to do it. If this team, oh my goodness gracious, I might have to really rant. I might have an epic rant of all time. If this team is lollygagging, what? You know what you're not. You have to know. I know what your statistical numbers are. I know what the eye test tells me about the first period. I know what Everett Fitzhugh is going to say on the radio broadcast if this team does not come out of the gate swinging. That's their MO. Everyone knows it. Calgary knows it. And they took advantage. They undressed you. They pantsed you in front of your own fans. Not cool. Not cool. If ever there was a game for this team to prove to themselves and to their fan base and to their coaching staff, to their ownership group, that they know how to empty the tank, it is tonight. No excuses. Do whatever it takes by any freaking means necessary. I want the sandpaper. I want the piss and vinegar. I want you to start on time and continue with the combos. Bang, bang, bang. Do not relent until ding, ding, you hear the bell. Go for just absolute annihilation. This is the perfect time to show what you're made of. I mean, it's perfect. What do you have to lose? You're going to be on vacation soon. Only the one guy, and he's one of our, more effective guys right now, only one guy has plans, has hockey plans. Everybody else, are you going to be sipping pina coladas? I don't know. What are you going to be doing? Play freaking hockey. Play hockey tonight. Play Kraken hockey. Play the crap out of Kraken hockey tonight. Can we do it? I know we can do it. But are we going to choose to do it? I can't answer that question. I just hope we find out in the affirmative by puck drop. That's what I got, folks. Before I go, I had a comment. I almost forgot. I got really worked up there. Sometimes it just comes out of me. Someone asked, how did I get into hockey? And I really do love telling this story. I'm going to try and truncate it, keep it short. Long story short, when the National Women's Hockey League, NWHL, started in 2015, my sister was just coming off of watching. I have two sisters. They're twins. I am not a twin, but they are twins. Technically the youngest of all of us, my sister Jessie, was watching the 2014 Sochi Olympics, fell in love with hockey, not athletic at all, fell in love with hockey. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I don't know a lot about hockey, but I'm the sports person in the family. And I literally work in sports now. At the time, I did not. I was like, I'm going to teach you how to be a sports fan. We'll learn the hockey, but I'll teach you how to be a sports fan. We're at a preseason game. New York Islanders, New York Rangers at Barclays. That's how long ago this was, when they were playing at Barclays Center, the Islanders, that is. And my sister goes to me, hey, did you hear about this women's hockey league that's starting? I was like, I know nothing about it. She's telling me all about it. There's a team in New York that's going to play in Brooklyn. The team in New York that played in Brooklyn called the Riveters. Now, her twin, my sister, our sister, Alexis, has been into marketing, studied marketing at Boston University, and always, she'd done like projects on Rosie the Riveter. So we always knew about Rosie the Riveter. So you've got me, the sports fan, Jessie, now the hockey fan, Alexis, all about Rosie the Riveter, women in World War II, marketing, all of that stuff. And it just seemed like all our worlds were combining and colliding. So Jessie and I would go to those games. We then would go up to Boston because there was a team in Boston. We watched some games in Boston, caught up with Alexis when we could, or I did, and just fell in love with hockey watching the National Women's Hockey League. I mentioned Blake Bolden the other day. Saw her in the very first hockey game, women's hockey game that I ever saw, recognized her shot. I was like, holy crap. All I know about hockey is that sometimes you got to block shots. I wouldn't want to block that. And long story short, my passion for hockey started with my sister, was my intrigue came from watching women's hockey. And then, just a lot of different really cool people like Blake Bolden. First ever interview I did was a player named Kelly Babstock, who played at Quinnipiac. Got to meet so many cool people, Olympians, all of this stuff. So you asked me about my passion. Thank you for asking that question, because as you can probably tell, I really love answering that question. It's a cool story. I love telling that story, and it just shows the power of just being able to share your passions with people. So I got involved in hockey because of my sister. I would like to say that my passion just started because I'm a sports fan. I'm kind of a sports geek. I love sports. Baseball is my first ever love. And now I find myself in the hockey space. So I love talking Kraken hockey. I'm glad my passion comes through, even if sometimes it sends me on a spiral and I almost forget to tell the stories. But I really appreciate you asking that question. And yeah, I think sports is a way that it's kind of, and I hate to use this term, but it's almost like a quote unquote acceptable way to just unabashedly share our passions, especially for those of us who tend to lean more into our masculine energy. And what I mean by that is literally masculine, feminine energy. Like there are different differentiations between how we as society kind of identify that, regardless of sexual orientation or anything of that nature. I'm just talking about energy. Like there are certain things that we consider more masculine, more feminine. And so when you have this masculine energy, right? If you lean into your masculine energy, again, we as a society, we don't always embrace some of the more feminine qualities, which is to be compassionate and to have a passion that really stems from love. And so I think for a lot of people, myself included, because again, I am whatever. I don't feel the need to do all of that. My point is that for someone who, like me, can identify with feeling like I have a handle on my more harsh or more firm and more stern masculine energy, but sometimes struggles to express my more feminine energy, I guess publicly, sports was a way for me to do that. And I could do that in a community and not feel self-conscious about being a little bit more vulnerable or about having emotions regarding sports. So anyway, that's my story, or at least part of it. Thank you for that. Glad you found the channel. And hopefully you like my hat as much as I do. Speaking of leaning into my feminine energy, I found this hat. I really love it. I also got some new earrings, these and another pair. It came with this bracelet. I love it, from a creator here in Tulsa. But it's a game day. All right. It's a game day. I feel like I said everything that needed to be said. We got to start out guns blazing, bam, bam, ready to go, hit the net early, shoot the mess out of the puck, be ready to crash the net, give our boy Joey Jacks some support. We need some support. And I think the biggest thing for me really is just empty the tank. Just show us that you can empty the tank. Give it all. However many other phrases you want. There are a lot of phrases, some I will not say, but there's so many. Just get into that mindset where you are going to do whatever it takes to get points in the standings. That's what I want. That's what I hope I see. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. I hope this, whether it's hockey or something else, fashion, find your passion and just lean into it. Why not? Masculine energy, feminine energy, whatever. Let's just be happy, right? And I will catch you on the next episode, but not before we say hold fast, stay true, and loud and proud. Let's go, Kraken. I'll catch you on the next episode, and hopefully I will be wearing a different hat, if you know what I mean. All right, enjoy the game. Peace out, everybody.